Hello, it's great to be able to speak to you today at Assembly. I want to bring before you a story of a lady. You might not ever have heard of her. Her name is Harriet Tubman, and she was born around 1822 in America. Harriet Tubman did amazing things. She never learnt to read or write. She was only ever her tallest, 5 foot tall, quite a small woman. But she had amazing courage and she had a great faith. Harriet, born in 1822, was owned by other people. Her parents were both slaves. Slavery was a terrible and is a terrible thing. It's where someone owns someone else against their will. And it existed in America 200 years ago. And Harriet's mum and dad were both slaves. And from the minute she was born, she was a slave as well, working on what was called a plantation. And life was tough. It was working every day from sunrise to sunset, and even after that, if the moonlight allowed. It was a terrible, terrible situation. And at one time, there were 4 million slaves in the southern states of America. Now, Harriet, we know, was a Christian. She knew the stories of the Bible. She couldn't read the Bible, but she heard the stories that had been passed down. She actually became to be known as the Moses of her people. The story of Moses is found in the Bible, and it's a story of a man, obviously called Moses, who led his people from slavery to a promised land. And God worked powerfully through Moses. And I think we'll see today how God worked powerfully through Harriet Tubman. Now, Harriet vowed at a young age to pray continually that she would have an opportunity to be free. She hated slavery, as people would. And she prayed every day that God would give her an opportunity. Now, 20 years after she made that vow, Harriet actually came into contact with a lady who said to her if she ever needed help to escape, to come to her and she would help her on the Underground Railroad. And so it was that Harriet one day, after she learnt that her brothers were going to be sold to somewhere else as a slave, they were going to be separated, she was determined that night she would leave. Oh, her and her brothers knew the great punishment that would come upon them if they tried to escape and got caught. And what happened is her brothers said, no, we cannot go. They were so afraid of being caught and then punished, severely punished for trying to escape. But Harriet on that night, although she was so upset at going away from her brothers, decided that she would go. And she went to this woman's house. Fearful. Amazing that she trusted this lady who she had only just met the once. And when she got into the house, Harriet asked, where's the train? This Underground Railroad. And the woman had to tell her, there is no train. The Underground Railroad is just houses on the way to towns up in the North America where you will no longer be a slave. And so it was that night that Harriet fled. And she had been given instructions on houses where to go to. She was given the name Pennsylvania written down, hoping to get to this town. But of course, as you can imagine, her owners found out she had fled and they searched for her. They took dogs out, and Harriet had to make this journey, and she made it at night, and she only knew direction. She knew where north was because her dad had once told her that moss doesn't grow, only grows on the north side of a tree. So Harriet would look at trees, see where the moss was, and would go north. She crossed rivers so that the dogs who would be looking to find her with scent couldn't follow that scent across a river. And she would find people who would be friendly towards black people who were slaves. And they would help them to escape. And amazingly, Harriet got to Pennsylvania. Oh, she was so happy. She thanked God that he had been so kind and helping her to go. And she got her first job when she was there. A job she actually got paid to do. No longer was she a slave in this town in America in the north. But Harriet wanted to help others. She loved others. She knew the love of God in her heart. She knew the love of the Lord Jesus Christ in her heart. And she knew the love that Jesus had. He served others. He sacrificed himself for others. And she said, the love of God will make you do strange things. So what does she do? Harriet actually went back to the southern state where she had escaped from 13 times. There were posters up offering a reward for her capture. But she went 13 times over 10 years and helped others to escape. And one of the last times was this. A trap had been set for her. The slave owners knew that their slaves were escaping, or some were. And they were upset. And they put a trap because they thought Harriet was coming to get her mum and dad. But you know, amazingly what happens is that Harriet gets to where her mum and dad are and enables them to escape. And she took them all the way back to the northern part of America. Now, in the end, these escaped slaves had to go to Canada. It's so dangerous. But Harriet is remembered today. Harriet Tubman, a black woman who was a slave, who couldn't read or write, small, only 5 feet tall. But she escaped, and she helped others too as well. Do you know the great story of Harriet is of her sacrificial and selfless love towards other people. You know, she trusted in God. She couldn't read the Bible, but people had told her about God's love, and she was a Christian. And today she is known as the Moses of her people, because she went back to her people and enabled many of them to escape the cruelty of slavery and to be free. And you know what? Everyone that she helped did find freedom. She said on the Underground Railroad, she never lost a passenger. Amazing story. Oh, she was helped by others, and she was helped by God. You know, may her story inspire us to do great things. May it cause us to remember the cruelty that can exist in this world and did exist was slavery, and how that is so wrong. But may it cause us to trust in the God who's revealed in the Bible, and a God who works through people to do great things in a world where there can sometimes be horrible things happening. Thanks for listening, and remember the name, Harriet Tubman. Thank you.